I got these 3 pumpkins from Dollar Tree, and I am going to take one of them. They come on clips. I'm just going to take that off of there. And then I have this French linen color and from I can't talk tonight, Folk Art. And I am going to paint one of my pumpkins that color. Now, I did do a little test strip. I noticed it's not covering very well. I should probably cover with Mod Podge first, but of course I'm not going to. So I am going to go ahead and put a coat on here. I am going to dry it and then probably put another coat or 2 on there. I have the other 2 pumpkins. I'm going to do this moss color from Waverly, and there, I got my lights on. And I'm going to see, this is a little bit thicker paint, so I'm thinking this is going to cover a little bit better. So let's give this a shot once. Let's see how well that covers. Yeah, I think that's going to cover a little bit better. I'm still going to have to put a couple coats on here, but I am going to get 2 of my pumpkins painted this moss color, and then quite a few coats on that one with the French linen. Alright, so I finally got my pumpkins painted, and I'm going to tell you I had to put a ton of coats on these pumpkins to cover that up. So the next thing that I'm going to do is I bought a succulent from Dollar Tree, which I used for a different project, and I am going to use this as my planter or base. This is probably should use Mod Podge, but I actually want the black to kind of show through. So I'm going to take my white chalk paint from Waverly, and I am just going to brush it on here. And I'm going to kind of leave it like that because I want the black to kind of show through. Okay, my base is all painted and it's just the way I want it with a little bit of black showing through. So actually now I'm going to take this white paint that I have, and I am going to dry brush a little bit onto my pumpkins here. I'm going to go ahead and take the white chalk paint and do this to my all the way around both of my green pumpkins, or my moss colored pumpkins. Okay, my pumpkins are all done. I think they look pretty good. And now I'm going to take my linen colored one, and I'm going to take this Java chalk paint, and I am going to use that to do a little bit of definition on my linen one. And I'm going to go ahead and do it in all the creases of this one. Okay, I have my linen pumpkin all done. I thought that turned out pretty good too. So then I'm going to take one of these stems, because that's going to be the top part, and I'm going to use this Java color on the stem here so it doesn't look quite so plasticky. Okay, finally I am up to the part where I get to decorate. So I have this foam block that I am going to cut to fit inside of here, because I want my pumpkins to come up higher. So I'm gonna cut my styrofoam to fit in there. Might be a little bit high on that one end. Let's try it this. Oh, that's perfect. Glue it in my base. And might be just a little high. You know what? I think I'm gonna shave a little bit off of there. All right, a little bit of hot glue on there and glue that in there. All right, and then I am going to put my pumpkins on there, and I am going to start with a green one. I think this should be a good height. And yes, that is the one I want to use. I'm trying to make it straight because the pumpkins obviously aren't completely even. And then, oh, I'm going to stick my stem that I painted back in this green one here, and that one's going to go on top. Alright, got some more hot glue sticks, and I'm going to stick that one on top of there. I think that looks pretty even. is I have this little chalkboard clip that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to pop this clothespin off of here. And then Creative on the Cheap, which is a channel that I watch sometimes, she had some printables, and I am actually going to use this Farm Fresh pumpkins here. I'm going to cut that out and put it onto here. Okay, so I have my printable cut out, and I popped the clothespin off the back of that, and now I am going to put my little sign that I printed off onto my chalkboard tag. Just want to make sure I have all the weight off of there, and I am actually gonna try this art glitter glue that I have to put on there. And I'm just gonna, this is, I use for my making my cards. I'm gonna put a little bit of that on there and stick it on my sign. Okay, I have my saying on my sign, and then I'm just gonna attach it right to the base here, or to the, I shouldn't say the base, to the front of my sign here, or my planter, whatever you want to call it. So then I have my Spanish moss from Dollar Tree, and I am going to stick this in here. I'm going to try to hot glue it down. Not exactly sure how this is going to work, but I'm just going to kind of stick it in there at the base. Stick it in there. And I'm going to go ahead and do that all the way around. Alright, so I have the Spanish moss all the way around, and I am just going to take my scissors and just kind of trim it because it's kind of hanging out everywhere. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of try to bundle it up a little bit, just kind of squish it and stick it in between the pumpkins here like this. And I think that's going to look really good. So I'm going to go ahead and do that all the way around on this side and all the way around on the top on this one also. Okay, I have all my Spanish moss on there, and now I think I'm just going to clip a little bit because it just seems to be kind of wild and random. Okay, I have it all chopped down, and I think it's looking really cute. So the last thing that I'm going to do is I have this raffia that I got from Dollar Tree, and I am going to tie a little bow on the stem at the top. So I'm going to tie it on there, and then I'm going to stick a little bit of hot glue on there to get it to stay down so I can tie it. And I'm going to try to make a little bow. Okay, so I have the raffia bow tied on there, and these ends are sticking up so funny. So I'm just going to try to make my loops a little bit smaller here. And then I am going to actually stick a little hot glue on here. Try to be careful. And I'm going to stick the raffia down on there so it kind of drapes down the side. Okay, well, I'm going to have to chop that off a little bit. All right, and that is it. It is all done. I think it turned out really cute. I have 3 tutorials for you, and it's using the Dollar Tree mop head that I got. The first thing I'm going to do is I have this welcome sign, and I am going to paint it in this truffle color Waverly chalk paint. So I am going to go ahead and get this sign all painted, and then I'm going to let it sit and dry, and we're going to start on the rest of the project. Okay, so my welcome sign looks pretty good. There's a little bit of the silver showing through, but I mean that covered way better than the paintbrush. Then the next thing that I'm going to do is I already have my mop taken apart, but what I want to do is there's 4 strands to each mop string, and I'm actually going to take them apart. All right, so I'm just trying to get these apart. You got to be careful with these because they actually rip really easy. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take each single strand and I'm gonna wrap it on this dowel rod. And I got a pack of these dowel rods quite a while back from Dollar Tree. So I'm just gonna stick it on there and then I'm just gonna pull it through and I'm gonna tighten it. And I'm not exactly sure how many of these I'm gonna put on here yet. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but I'm just kind of trying to straighten them out a little bit because they're kind of twisted. I mean, not that it matters, but I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna keep putting these on here. So I'll check back with you in a little bit and you can see how far I got. Okay, so this is the progress that I've made so far. I'm probably gonna go to about there. All right, so I have it all on there. Then the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of lay it out and I'm gonna try to comb it down. Like I said, you gotta be careful because the ends are, or you could just pull it apart real easy. And I'm just gonna, well actually I need a better scissors. I'm gonna take a scissors. That's my one I use for cutting sticks and stuff. I'm gonna take the scissors and just kind of, not even it out, but any super long strands just kind of cut off. It's not too bad. So we're gonna leave it right like that. Then the next thing that I'm gonna do, I have these beads, which I just happen to have laying around. But what I wanna do is I'm gonna put these on here like that. Okay, I wanna make sure that I have room for my welcome here. All right, so that looks about good. So I'm probably gonna put my beads on right about there. Okay, I think my hot glue gun is heated up. So I'm gonna put the bead about there and I'm gonna wanna glue the bead on. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of hot glue and stick it on here. And I'm hoping this is gonna hold the bead onto there. And then I am going to repeat that on the other side. All right. Yeah, that should hold pretty good. It's gonna stick right to the mop strands. Then the next thing I wanna do is I have this jute, and this is not Dollar Tree. I actually got this from Hobby Lobby. But this is gonna be my front. So I wanna wrap this jute around here. I'm gonna make a little hanger. So I'm just gonna stick a little hot glue on here, get my jute glued on, and then I am going to wrap it around the end. Not all the way, just a little bit. And then I'm gonna hot glue that end on there. And then this is gonna be my little hanger up here. So I'm probably gonna, I don't want it too big. So I'm thinking maybe about here. All right, so then I'm just gonna take a little hot glue and I'm gonna put my jute on there. And then I'm gonna wrap it around the end of the dowel, trying to stay about as even as I can to the other side. All right, flip this around, stick a little hot glue on there, and hold it on. All right, and then I'm gonna snip that end off. Hopefully that's holding good. And then I just wanna make sure I get my end tucked in there. I don't want that sticking up. Should have my little rubber finger right now. Forgot to grab it. All right, so then I have my hanger. And then the last thing that I was gonna do is I'm gonna take my little welcome sign, and that's gonna go right on the mop, or right on the dowel rod. And that is gonna kind of stick up like this. So I'm gonna stick a little hot glue in a couple of these spots here, and we'll see how that sticks. So I was gonna stick it up on top, but I don't think that that is gonna that's gonna work. So I think I'm gonna have to glue it right to the front here. All right, I have it glued on there. It looks a little wobbly, which I kind of anticipated. So I'm just gonna make sure that I have enough hot glue in here to hold it on good. All right, and then it is finished. I'm having a hard time getting it all in there, but I'll get a decent picture of it. So that is my first project using the mop head. Number 2, I have this little foam pumpkin from Dollar Tree, and what I am going to do is I'm going to take the stem out, and then I have this what is it, nautical cord or nautical rope that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm actually going to separate this because this pumpkin's pretty small, so I'm not gonna use the whole thick rope. And then I also have my mop from Dollar Tree, so I'm gonna use this to accent the ridges in the pumpkin, and I'm gonna go right up to right where that stem is gonna go in, and I am just gonna hot glue this cord on here, and then I'm going to go right in the ridge, and I'm only going to go down probably about this far. I'm not going to go around the whole bottom of the pumpkin, so I'm just going to stick a little hot glue about where I want it to end here, and it's going to go right about there. And I'm hoping I'm going to get this pretty even, but we shall see. All right, so snap that off of there. And then I am going to do the opposite side of my pumpkin. I probably should tighten it up a little bit and put some in the middle so it stays. Gotta be careful with the hot glue because it will melt the pumpkin. Make sure I got that on there pretty good. And then just snip that off. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of the nautical rope around the edges of the pumpkin where I want it. Okay, I have the nautical rope on there where I want it. The pumpkin's not exactly even, so there are going to be bigger ridges in some spots, but I've never seen a perfect pumpkin. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill the rest of it in with the mop. So I'm just going to go, and quite honestly, the mop, you get so much more than with this nautical rope. I mean, you get a very small amount with the nautical rope. So if you can somehow incorporate the mop into your projects, you're going to save a ton of money. It is a little hard to work with. I'm not going to lie about that fact. Right. So I am just going to keep gluing my pieces on here like this. All right, so this is what it's looking like so far. So I ended up having to do long strands over here and then short strands on that side, but I don't think that matters too much. But this is actually taking a lot longer than I thought it was. So I am going to just keep, I'm going to start with the side. What I should have done is I should have went down the middle and then did the sides. But I started with the sides, so now I'm just going to keep continuing to do that. I don't know if you can see what I mean by that, but if you can see, I had to cut my strands shorter on this side. And I think I probably should have started in the middle because then I would have even strands on each side, but I think it's going to look okay. Okay, so this is about how far I am right now. This is taking actually a lot longer than I thought. So I just keep going and gluing. I'm thinking this is probably taking me like an hour already. But I just keep gluing it and then kind of pushing it up against, because I don't want the orange to show through. And I just keep putting it on there. I started doing 2 strands at a time, so the glue at the end has time to dry before I put the next strand on. But I'm just kind of squishing it all together. Okay, so I finally have all my stuff on my pumpkin, and one thing that I am going to tell you is that this pumpkin had glitter on it. I should have made sure I got all the glitter off, because there's glitter all over this, but I don't think it looks that bad, so I'm not really too worried about it. Then the next thing that I want to do is add the stem, and obviously I don't want this green stem, so I am going to paint it this Java color. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get my stem painted, and while that is drying, I decided that I didn't like the way this cord, it sticks in way farther than the mop. So I'm actually gonna take my nautical rope, and I'm gonna take the same size that I used, which is 1/3 of it, and I am gonna go back over that so it sticks out a little bit. I think that's gonna look way nicer. All right, my pumpkin is all done. I got all those on there. I notice I do have a couple big spots. I might actually go back through and put one over here. I'm not sure, because it just looks a little off center. But for right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish it up. So I have my stem, which I painted, and I'm gonna stick that back in there. I mean, I guess if I put it this way, it's not a big deal, but the pumpkin wasn't exactly even where the ridges were, so it was kind of hard to get it in there straight. So maybe I'll just go with the best looking side and just put it that way. I got my stem in here, and then I'm gonna take a little bit of this mineral paint from Waverly, and I'm just gonna dry brush a little bit on the stem just to give it, whoops, a little bit more definition, so it's not just completely that Java color, which I think is gonna make it look more like a realistic stem. Oh, that looks so much nicer. Okay, so the last thing that I'm gonna do is I have some of this raffia, and what I wanna try to do is tie a bow onto here. And I don't want it sticking out way weird or anything. All right, and then I am just going to snip it. And the raffia, I did get a Dollar Tree also, so just so you know. So this, actually this whole project, except for the paint on the stem, was all Dollar Tree. And if you think about it, you could, I mean, the pumpkin was $1. That was the most expensive part. But I mean, the raffia, that was $1, and you get a whole bunch. I still have all this mop string left. And the nautical rope, I barely used any because I split it all apart. But I think that's just a little bit long yet. But there we go. My pumpkin is all finished. And that is project number 2 using the Dollar Tree mop head. All right, I am back with my 3rd and final project using the Dollar Tree mop head. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off of here. I'm not sure if I'm going to reuse that or not. And I'm going to pop this bow off of here. I am going to use this moss color in the Waverly chalk paint, and I'm going to paint the 3 sections of my pumpkin with that. I was debating if I wanted to use the pumpkin color, but I think with the tones with the white mop head, I think that it's gonna look better if I use the moss color. All right, my pumpkin is all painted. I really like that color. And then I'm just gonna do a tad bit of shading, not a lot. And I'm gonna use this truffle color chalk paint from Waverly. Just gonna get a little bit on my brush and just kind of shade in the ends a little bit. I don't want too much on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that on all the sides, going around all the curves. All right, my pumpkin is all painted and I have some shading in there. It looks kind of rustic. Then the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start putting my mop pieces on there, and then I'm also going to incorporate some of this nautical rope from Dollar Tree. So I am just gonna start gluing my mop onto here. So I am just gonna keep outlining my pumpkin here. I'm going to incorporate, like I said, the nautical rope in here. So I'm gonna show you quick how I'm gonna do that. So I got the mop part on there. And I cut this off. And then I'm going to take the rope and I am going to go on the outside of this. Now if you look, I'm not quite to the edge here. It's not exactly even all the way around. So I'm just going to stick my nautical rope on here. And I'm just going to kind of squish it on the ends where it's a little bit thicker. I'm not too worried about these edges where it's going to show. Okay, so I have my piece of nautical rope on that side. Now I'm going to try to get my mop string attached down on the bottom here. I don't have much of an edge here, so this is going to be a little bit difficult. But I'm just going to try to glue it right to the nautical rope. Measure this here and cut that off. And then push that in there. All right, and then the next thing that I'm going to do is in the middle here, I only have room for two strands. So I won't be able to do the whole coloring. So I'm going to stick the nautical rope here, and then I'm going to take my mop string and I'm going to stick it on the inside, and then I'm going to do this one the same way. Okay, I just wanted to check in with you and show you how it's going so far. So I got the middle ones done, and now I'm going to go ahead and get that edge done. Okay, I am almost done. I have my last piece of the mop that I'm putting on here, and this one is going to go all the way around the whole pumpkin. Now if you remember, on the side or the top and the bottom I didn't have much room, so I have to actually glue it pretty much right to the nautical rope. Right, and just chopped off. I'm just going to stick a little bit more hot glue in here and kind of push this up. Still kind of wanted the bumps of the bottom of the pumpkin if I can get them. But I think this is starting to look pretty cute. And then the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to take some jute and I'm going to wrap this down. Start on the back here with the jute string. Just apply that. And then I'm going to start wrapping it around. Oh, I did not realize, of course, that I was off camera again. Yeah, so I'm just gonna have to keep applying hot glue over here. Okay, I have the jute all wrapped up on there. I think that's looking pretty cute. Then I did get this wire jute cord from Dollar Tree. Okay, I actually found a paintbrush, so I'm gonna try that. I can see that the wire is actually popping out from the jute. So I am going to wrap this around here, or try to. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut some of this off here. All right, and then I'm just gonna wrap this around here. And then I'm gonna take my paintbrush and then do the other side. All right, well, one side's a little bit bigger, and I can't believe how bad that's separated from the wire. Oh, that is horrible. So I am actually going to snip this end off here. And I think I'm going to take a little bit off this side too. Let's see which way. Yeah, I think it looks better down like this. Okay, and then the last thing I want to do is I want to make a stand so that my pumpkin stands up. Okay, so I have that all done. Then I want, like I said, I want to make my pumpkin stand. So I don't know 100% if this is going to work out here, but we're going to try it. So my idea is to take these little craft cubes and the Jenga blocks and stick them on the bottom. Now I haven't done this before, so I'm not 100% sure if this is going to work, but we are going to try it out. So I just glued that together like that. And then I want the Jenga blocks. I don't want them to show, but I also want it to, because I have this, the mop down there. So we're just gonna hot glue this over here, kind of down farther. And then same on this side. All right, then I need a clear surface. We'll see if this stands. And it does not. It does not stick out enough. So, hold on one second. I have two more. Let's try this out. I haven't really done like stands like this before, so I guess we'll see if this works or not. I didn't want anything sticking out too far on the back. Oh, that is perfect. Oh, I wish I could get that all in there, but it stands up perfect now. All right, and that was video 3. This project is going to be Dollar Tree packed. So I got this stretch canvas from Dollar Tree. It's the 8x10. So I'm going to take this apart. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to take this that I got from Dollar Tree also, and I am going to wrap this around my canvas. So I am going to, I want a little bit of grip on here. But I want this to the end of the canvas to cover it up. So I just want to make sure I'm on point here. It's all right if the ends stick off a little bit, but I am going to hot glue this onto my canvas. Like so. And then like that, and then I'm going to cut this end off and hot glue this end on. Okay, and then I am going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of line this up the best that I can, and I'm going to put the next 3 rows on. Okay, so I'm getting the second one on, and I just wanted to mention that you're going to have to pull this really tight. I didn't want to put any hot glue on the front of it because it would show through. So you really have to pull this really tight when you're putting it on and try to hot glue it on. So I would suggest not cutting your ends so you have something to hold on to pull. Get my hat. If I had a big piece of burlap, obviously that would work better, but I don't. So I'm just hot gluing it down and then just cutting it. All right, one more to go. Okay, I have my burlap all on there. Then the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this burlap ribbon that I got from Dollar Tree, and I am going to put it around the outside of it to kind of finish it off a little bit. So just gonna, I don't really like the white canvas completely sticking out, so I'm just gonna stick this ribbon on here. All right, I am right at the end here, and I'm just gonna snip the end off. All right, and then my canvas is all ready to go. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to decorate it. So I'm going to set this aside for right now. And I have this little metal harvest sign, which my Dollar Tree has never had before. So I was super excited to find this. It actually came in a 3-pack, and there was 3 of them in there. And it all said different things. So I'm going to take the harvest sign, and I am going to paint it this Java color. That seems to be what I've been doing for a lot of my fall stuff. I'm really liking this Java color. And then I am going to paint my pumpkin, this Waverly chalk paint pumpkin color. All right, I just grabbed a little piece of, what do you call it? I can't even think, craft paper. So I could start painting my sign. Now I'm thinking this is probably going to need a few coats. I probably should have maybe Mod Podged it or something beforehand, but we're gonna try this out. I'm gonna put a coat on there and see how it looks, and then I'm gonna try another coat once it dries. So I'm just gonna get a coat of that on there, and then I have this little orange pumpkin, so I'm gonna paint the stem brown on my orange pumpkin right here. So that's probably going to need 2 coats. And then I also I'm going to be using this pumpkin, and I'm going to paint the stem. I'm going to pull that out of there. Paint the stem of this pumpkin so it doesn't look so plasticky. Which I think I did. Was that my last video, the fall sign that I made? I used these pumpkins. All right, I am going to try to put another coat on this quick. I want to see if this is actually going to stick or not. Maybe I might have to try a different brush, but I'm just going to keep trying to paint this and see if this is going to work. I want to cut this pumpkin in half to put on my sign. So I'm going to try my knife here. Last time I used a steak knife last time I cut a pumpkin, and I did not like the way that turned out. So I'll try this, and nope, see, I think I need a way better blade. All right, so I'm going to use the part with the stem. You could use this part on a different project, or this pumpkin. You just get a little wood stick or something to stick out at the top. All right, so I have the side with the hole here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint it this pumpkin color. Yeah, I think that orange is going to look a lot better with this pumpkin color. Not really a big fan of that bright orange. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get a coat of this pumpkin color on my half a pumpkin. Okay, so my harvest is still drying. I put a couple coats on there. I think it looks pretty good. And I'm just gonna leave it like that with a little bit showing through because I kind of like that. And my orange pumpkin is all done. And the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this pumpkin in half. Because I'm not gonna paint this one. I'm gonna keep this one the color that it is. So I'm just gonna get this one cut in half. All right, that one was all done. And then I am going to just cut a little notch out of this right here so I can stick my stem back in there. This is gonna just get hot glued right into there. Stick that right in like that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is, while that's drying, is I am going to get my sign together. So what I want to do is I want to put some jute, which I think this is actually hemp, to hang my sign. And I actually got this drill, this little Black & Decker drill. It was on sale at Menards for $22. And I got these drill bits, 19 piece. That was $6.99 at Menards. But I already pre-drilled a hole on this side. I think it was that side. Yes, I have a hole pre-drilled over on this side. I measured about 1 inch in. So, and it went right through the burlap ribbon. So I'm just gonna go about 1 inch in on this side. Make sure. There we go, now we're through. And then make sure you reverse it to come back out. All right, so you can't really see the hole because I have the ribbon on there, but that thing worked awesome, by the way. So I have my hemp here, and what I'm gonna do is I need to find where my hole was, and I already have some tape on there, so I have a good, I don't know what you say, so the hemp doesn't split. And then you are able to push it right through the hole. So then I'm just gonna snip that end off, and then I am going to tie this into a knot. I'm gonna put a couple knots in there. Okay, so I have a knot tied in there, and I have it pulled tight. Then I had these beads laying around the house, and I am actually gonna put these on here. The plan is I'm gonna have some leaves sticking up over here, but I'm still just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the beads on the other side because I don't know how far up I'm going to put them yet, but I think the beads just give it a little added touch, and they're just gonna stick at the bottom of the frame here. So I'm gonna see if I can find my other hole here, and I already have the tape on this other end of the hemp or jute, whichever it is. And then I am gonna tie that one on there. I could try to take the tape off, but I'm kind of in a hurry, so we're just gonna snip it off for right now. But the tape does come off pretty easy. Get my knot tied in there. All right, and my hanger is all done. And then the next thing that I want to do is I got these lights from Dollar Tree. Whoop, box is upside down. They're little orange lights. And I'm going to get those attached to the back of my canvas. I already have batteries in here. I did have to purchase batteries for it. They do not come with batteries. But I am going to stick my battery box right in this corner over here. And if you can see, there's a little screw there to get this open, and the switch is also right here to turn it on and off. So I am going to hot glue the battery box right into this corner, and that's going to be the lower right side of my project. So I'm gonna stick that right in there. That way you can still change the batteries, and right from behind you can turn it on and off. Okay, then the next thing I'm gonna do is I am going to glue my lights onto my project, and I wanna kind of keep it towards the middle, and it's just gonna kind of look like this. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of hot glue on these lights just to hold them in the back. All right, I have all my lights put on the back, and as you can see, they're just kind of shining through right now, but I have bright light. They actually, when you hang it up, it puts a little, you can see the little lights, but then it also puts a glow on the wall right there. So I'm just gluing these on here. Just stick a little hot glue right on there, and then pull the bead down. And then I'm gonna stick a little more hot glue on top of this one and glue that bead to that one. Right, now I am going to glue my decorations onto my sign. That's going to be the last step. So if you can see those lights are on there, it's kind of hard to see unless I hold it up, but I'm going to try to rearrange or arrange my harvest so that the lights where I put them are kind of sticking through and I'm not covering any of them up. So I'm just going to stick a little hot glue and get this glued down. Okay, so I'm just going to stick a little hot glue under a couple spots on here, just so it stays pretty good. All right, and then I'm going to put my pumpkins on, and I think I'm going to put the big one on the end over here. So just get some hot glue on my styrofoam, and I'm going to stick my pumpkin right to it. And then I'm going to do that with my orange one also, right next to that one. All right, so I'm going to get my leaves on here. Now I got this bushel of leaves and this vine leaf. Those were all from Dollar Tree, and I just picked a couple different colors of the leaves because I just thought the mixture would look a lot better than just all orange or just all dark. Now look at how this one is all, this leaf is all bent and goofy. So I'm just gonna set it down and then take my heat gun and I'm gonna straighten it right out. See how that just flopped right over? So I'm just gonna heat it up. You just don't want to keep it on there too long because otherwise you might melt them. And look at how flat that looks. Oh, that looks so much nicer. That is such an awesome trick. Okay, so I'm gonna get my leaves on here, and I want to try to, I don't know if how well you can see that, my light's in there. I can see it better when it's laying down, but I don't want to cover any of those lights up, so I'm gonna try to avoid that area. But I am gonna hot glue my leaves on here. And then I'm gonna stick this one, and I also want to keep those beads in there too, so that's another issue I'm working with, is I want to be able to see the beads. Right there. That should be about good. And then I got this, and I'm glad I got them before they were gone, but these pumpkin scented pine cones, and they actually have, they have the pine cones in there, but they also have these little pumpkins, which I think are really cute too. And they smell so good. So I am going to cover up the stems here with my pine cones. That one, whoops. I'm gonna stick that one over that stem right there. And I think I'm gonna stick that one about there so you can't see where the stems are cut off on there. Stick those little pine cones. So I thought it looked a little weird. I'm gonna actually add one more pine cone on there. I'm gonna stick it right up in there. All right, and then I found I had one of those little pumpkins in the potpourri thing. hot glue him on there. Okay, and then the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna stick some pine cones down in the corner here. I always look, if you look at the pine cones, they're not perfect, so I just kind of try to stick with the better looking sides facing out. And that one's gonna go right there. All right, and I am all finished. And there is my finished sign. I think that turned out really cute. So for this project, I got this serving platter from Dollar Tree, and I am going to put some feet on it. So I got these beads from Amazon, and these beads are going to serve as my feet on my serving tray. I'm going to take a little bit of my E6000. I'm going to stick it right in the center here, and then just take a little bit of hot glue on kind of more the outside of it. And I am going to stick my foot on. And then I'm going to do that with the rest of them. Alright, now that I have my feet on there, the next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to take this metallic paint and primer, and it's oil rubbed bronze. I don't know, for some reason that just screams fall to me. And I am going to spray my tray, and notice that I said it has the primer all in one, so it should stick right to this metal. And then I'm going to make sure I get the bottom too. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. My tray is all dry, and I think that looks so nice. I really like how that turned out. So then there's only one thing that I am going to paint on this project, and that is going to be this pumpkin. I want to just give it a little bit more dimension, and I want to paint the stem here a darker color so it doesn't look so plasticky. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in the creases of the pumpkin with my brown paint, and I'm going to do that all the way around. Alright, my pumpkin is all done. It looks a lot better. Alright, so I'm going to start putting my tray together. And I already kind of decided where I was going to put stuff, but we'll see how it turns out. These pumpkins I got from Dollar Tree, and I am actually going to leave them just how they are. I am not going to paint them or anything. The stickers aren't going to come off. So I just want to find my best sides of my pumpkins here. There we go. And then I got this little straw bale. I got that at Dollar Tree also, and that is going to sit back over here. And I think this is where I want my pumpkin, right here. And I'm just going to put some on there, and then I'm going to put some hot glue on there, kind of trying to stay away a little bit from the super glue gel. And then I'm going to press my pumpkin right on there. Right, and then I am going to do the same thing with this pumpkin. Alright, and then I have this little straw bale that I got from Dollar Tree, and I can see it's already making kind of a mess. I'm going to have to open this up though, and it's probably going to get all over the place. Alright, I'm going to open it up over here. Oh yeah, it's making a mess. Alright, and then I'm just going to try to shake some of this off. If you can see, it got all over my desk. Alright, so I'm just going to get as much off as I can, and then this is actually going to get super glued down too. So I'm going to use my super glue and hot glue to put this down on there. And then I am going to put it right down on my tray. Alright, got that on there. And then my little pumpkin that I painted here, that is going to go on next. Little pumpkin. I want everything glue. I'm going to try to glue everything down so it stays all as one piece. for when I put it away. I don't like it when I pack stuff up and then stuff goes rolling off all over the place. And then I have some of this raffia here, which I'm gonna try to tie around the stems here. Okay, I just cut 2 little pieces off here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna try to make a bow around my pumpkin stem. Okay, after playing with it for a little bit, I did get the bow on here, on this one. Now I'm gonna try to get one tied on here. Okay, well that looks pretty good. I think I'm just gonna leave it at that. And so I'm gonna try to put a little bit of hot glue in the back here, and then just push it down. Try to get my glue gun in here. Okay, all right, got those on. Then my plan after that is I want to take some of these leaves that I got from Dollar Tree, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take one leaf here, and I am going to cut a little section off. Whoops, like so. And then I am going to hot glue these onto the pumpkin. So I'm just gonna stick a little hot glue in there and stick my leaf in there. I'm just using this little skewer stick to poke it in there to stick into the hot glue. And then I'm gonna stick one over here. And then I'm going to do the same thing over on this one on the opposite side. Wish these would have stuck up just a little bit more, but so far so good. Alright, then the next thing that I want to do is I have this little chalkboard, and I got these printables. I printed it. If you ever watched Creative on the Cheap, she had these linked in her description, so I am actually going to use that pumpkin one right there, and I'm going to put it on my sign. Okay, so that clothespin was pretty hard to get off. It did kind of wreck the back of it a little bit, but I'm going to take this little printable that I got, and I am going to just use a glue stick, and I am going to stick it right to the chalkboard sign. Still doesn't feel very sticky. Maybe these glue sticks aren't very good. Okay, so I actually just took the glue stick right onto the chalkboard and put it on there real good, and it's sticking good now. Alright, then I have this little skewer stick that I got in a pack at Dollar Tree, and this is actually, I'm going to stick it in this bale of hay, but I would need to try to get my height. I'm thinking probably right about there. So I'm just gonna take my scissors and cut that. And then I am going to, I kept the skewer part on here, the pokey part, so I could stick it into my bale of hay. So I am going to hot glue this onto the stick here. Try to get it in the middle. Just make sure I get enough hot glue on here so it stays. Alright, and then this little guy is going to get stuck right in this bale of hay here. Right like that. Alright, then I am going to take some of this raffia, and I'm going to try to put it on the tray around here. And that's my plan anyways. I just want to cut up some bushels and just kind of stick them in here. I'm thinking in the back maybe. So I'm just going to take a handful, cut it, and then just kind of stick it around in here. Okay, so I was not a fan of how that raffia looked on there. So what I did was I took and made a little bushel, and I think I'm actually gonna stick it up by my sign right here. I think that would look really cute. Kind of like a corn stalk. So I'm just gonna flip this around. My bale of hay is all over. I wonder if I could have sprayed that with something, if that would have helped. So I'm just gonna put some hot glue on here and stick this to my bale of hay. Okay, then I am going to take some leaves that I got from Dollar Tree, and I am going to glue them randomly around the tray. All right, so I'm gonna get my leaves on there. Not putting these in any special place by any means. All right, I'm just gonna cut that leaf off a little bit so I can stick it in here. All right, got my leaves sticking up. Then I have these pumpkin scented pine cones that I got from Dollar Tree that I am going to place on here, which I wish I would have bought more bags when they had them. They also have these little pumpkins in here. You know what I also have, which I think I'm going to use? I bought these little vine balls, which I've never seen at my Dollar Tree before. And I thought those would look really cute on there too. I think I'm going to stick that one right there. That's a good filler right there. Let's see. Alright, I am just going to go ahead and keep gluing this stuff down on here. I think I have all the pine cones that I want in there, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some little raffia pieces, which I'm just making like this. I just take a long piece of it, and then I kind of wind it up like this. And cut that off, and then I just take a little bit, another piece, and just a skinny little piece, and I wrap it to tie it. Just like this. And then I bend it, and then I'm just cutting all the loops at the top. Just making little raffia bundles, which I'm going to randomly place on my tray. And then what I do to keep them like more together is I was just taking some hot glue and sticking it on here, because this is the side that's going to get glued down, but I want it to kind of stay like this. I don't want it spreading apart, so I was just using the hot glue to kind of keep it together. So I'm going to make a couple of these and get those put on my tray, and then that'll be it. Okay, I got a couple of them made, and I am just going to place them on my tray. I'm just trying to cover up some of the dead space on here. I didn't think I was going to have so much. I thought the pine cones and the little pumpkins were going to fill it up pretty good, but turns out it didn't fill it up quite as much as I thought it was going to. And this one's going to go right there. I've got quite a bit of my tray filled up. And I got one last one that I made here. And this one, yeah, this is gonna go right in front here. All right, I have it all finished. This project, I'm going to use this little thankful sign that I got from Dollar Tree. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out of here and set this aside for right now. And I am going to make this a little stand. So I am going to hot glue this. So my stand is gonna, I have these little beads that I got from Amazon, and then I have the little tower tumbling blocks from Dollar Tree. And I am going to, I always like putting little feet on my projects. So first thing I'm going to do is I am going to hot glue my bead onto my board. All right, and then I'm going to do the same on the other side, or actually not my board, my frame. And then I am going to make little feet, and I'm going to hot glue the tower block onto here. I'm going to try to center that the best that I can. And then do that on the other side. Looks like, okay, and then it is going to stand just like that. My little stand is all made, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this folk art Java chalk paint, and I'm going to paint this whole thing. I did do a little test strip right here, and this is really glossy and shiny, so this actually just scraped right off. So I'm going to put a coat of paint on it because I want this kind of stained look, and then after I get the paint on, I'm going to seal it with a coat of my matte Mod Podge. And I am just gonna start painting it. So I'm just gonna get pretty much everything, including the back. Okay, so I have the feet painted, and now I'm working on the base of the sign, making sure to get on the insides here. All right, I have my stand all painted, or my sign, and I actually used 2 coats of chalk paint, but like I said before, it scratches off really easy. So I'm gonna take this matte Mod Podge and I'm gonna go over the whole thing with it. All right, so my matte Mod Podge is actually getting pretty low. So, but this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take it and go over the whole thing so the paint doesn't scrape off of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this whole thing Mod Podged. All right, it's all Mod Podged. I think it's looking pretty good. So I am gonna set this aside for right now, and then I'm gonna take this sign, and I wanna get this thankful off of here because I wanna put a different piece of paper on there. So I don't think it's on there very tight. I'm just gonna take my little spatula here and just kind of pry it up. Trying not to bring the paper with it. I got a little bit on there. And then I am actually going to put new paper on this, so I kind of want a flat surface, so I ripped up some of this paper, so I'm just going to kind of sand it down so it's a little flatter. Alright, and then I picked out this scrapbooking paper that I had. This pumpkins and corns and leaves, and I'm actually going to put that onto my paper, and then I'm going to put the thankful on top of that. So so I'm just gonna go around. The paper on this cardboard is sticking off a little bit. Yeah, so I missed a bunch of it, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So then I'm gonna go ahead and get this cut out. Okay, I have my paper all cut out, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna Mod Podge this down onto the sign. I'm gonna make sure I get it covered the best I can. All right, and then I'm just gonna take my Mod Podge on my board here, and then just start gluing it down. And then I'm gonna lift this up and then continue and go down. So just gonna get that all on there. Try and get towards the ends, and then just gonna push it down. Okay, so that is all done. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to put this back into my frame. Okay, I got it in there. I'm gonna put my clips down. All right, and then I got my paper in there. All right, and then I'm gonna line up and put my thankful back on there. Okay, I'm gonna use the Mod Podge because I unplugged my hot glue gun before. So I'm actually gonna dip a little bit more in there and then just go up on my lettering. Let's just maybe take a little pen. Okay, and then I'm gonna try to line this up. Oh, it looks like I got quite a bit of Mod Podge on there. Probably should have waited for my hot glue gun. All right, and then, yep, that looks pretty good. So I'm just gonna hold this down on here for a little while so it dries. Okay, then the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna decorate my sign. And I got this little pumpkin clip from Dollar Tree. I'm just gonna take the clip out of there, and then I'm gonna take this little stem out. I'm gonna leave the pumpkin the color that it is, but this little stem, I'm gonna put a little bit of the Java paint on there, just to make it look not quite so plasticky. All right, so now I am going to decorate my little sign. And I got this pumpkin, which I showed you before, and I painted the top. But what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna cut this pumpkin, I'm thinking in half. All right, so I got it cut in half. I'm gonna take maybe a better looking end. Well, I guess that one's gonna have to do. And what I wanna do is I'm going to put it onto here, and then I actually want the stem on there too. So I think I'm just gonna carve out a little notch, and then I'm gonna hot glue my stem onto my pumpkin. All right, stick a little hot glue in there. And then put my pumpkin stem right on like that. All right, and then I am going to hot glue it to my sign. All right, that looks pretty cute. Then I'm going to take a little bit of my Java paint, and I am going to dry brush a little bit, let's see if you can see that, in between the little crevices of the pumpkin to try to get it to stick out a little bit more dimension. Okay, then the next thing I'm going to do, I got this raffia from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to tie a little bow around the stem. This is gonna probably be a little difficult, but I'm gonna do my best here. I'm gonna make a loop first, and then put it on there, and then try to tie a little bow. All right. I'm just gonna cut the ends off. Okay, with a little bit of finagling, I did get my bow back on there, so that is what that looks like. All right, then I have some of this leaf garland that I got at Dollar Tree. But I wanted to show you a real cool trick right away. So if you see how this leaf is all bent over and goofy looking, so I have this heat embossing tool, which is basically a heat gun. If you just put that on the leaf for a little while and heat it up, it'll actually straighten itself back out. So watch this tip right here. Just heat it up. There, and look at the tip is all straight. So I am gonna go ahead and pick my leaves out. This one looks like it has a few holes in, and then I'm gonna take my heat gun and kind of straighten them all out. Just remember not to get too close so you don't melt them. Okay, I have my leaves all ready to go, and I think I'm actually gonna go down the side a little bit. I think I'm gonna stick this one right about there. Darn hot glue strings. And then this one I'm going to kind of stick up a little bit in there. And then I'm going to put one more at the top. Let's see. Yeah, probably going a little off to the side or going over the top. Kind of like that. All right, and then I think the last thing that I'm gonna do, I have these little pine cones, which I also got from Dollar Tree. They were in a little bag full of pine cones and little pumpkins. They're actually pumpkin, they smell like pumpkin. And I'm going to put my little pine cones in here, in the actual frame. So, a little hot glue. This one's gonna kind of stick up like that. And I think I'm gonna kind of go in the corner for that one. Like that, kind of down. And I think that should be good. I don't want to put too much on it and take up too much of it. So it is all finished. All right, so I got this little plaque from Dollar Tree. I'm going to take the stickers out of here, and I am also going to pop this little thankful piece off of here. I don't need this on here, and I could use this for a different project, so I'm just going to pry this up, and that can stay on here. I'm not worried about that, but this I could definitely reuse. And this is going to be the bottom, so you're not even going to see this part. What I also need to do is there's these little clouds that are painted on here, and I'm actually going to paint over them, but I've used this plaque before and these clouds stick out, so I'm going to take this to the garage and find my husband's sander and sand the clouds off. Alright, I have it all sanded down, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this Java chalk paint from Folk Art, and I am going to paint the outside of the box here and the lid or the top of it, and then a little bit on the inside, just in case my rocks don't quite cover it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this painted. All right, my box is all painted. Now I'm gonna get the stand ready. I found these beads, I had them laying around the house, and I'm gonna use these for feet on the bottom of here, but I'm going to E6000 and hot glue them so that I hopefully get a nice tight grip because I obviously don't want it to fall apart. So I am going to do both. So I'm just gonna put that around there and then a little hot glue and stick it right in the corner there. And then I'm gonna do this with the other 4. All right, I have my feet on there. That's all set to go. Okay, and then the only other thing I'm gonna do to the stand is I got this ribbon, burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna put that around the base of it. So I'm gonna start, this is gonna be my back, and I'm gonna put this, just gonna do it in the middle around my project. All right, and then I'm just gonna go around and get that put on. All right, I have my tray all made. I think it turned out really cute. I really like that, and I love this burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree. So far, Dollar Tree, and then these I had laying around at home. Obviously the paint was from not from Dollar Tree, but believe me, if they had chalk paint, I would probably try it. Then the next thing, I'm going to set that aside. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to put burlap ribbon on my base. So I have this that I got from Dollar Tree. All right, so I am going to start putting my burlap on my base that I got here. And I'm just going to use hot glue. Oh, you know what? I should grab my rubber finger that I got from Dollar Tree. So one side's going to be the back because I don't want the glue to show. All right, then I'm just going to wrap it around. I don't want to be able to see through the vase, so I'm going to wrap it a few times. Okay, put my finger there so I know where to stop. And I think that should be good. Can see through just a little bit, but it's not horrible. So I am gonna go ahead and hot glue this down. All right, so I got that going all the way around. Then I am going to put my darker color on. I'm just gonna go right about there. Not worried about the bottom of the vase because that is actually going to be covered up. So put that on there. Oh, and I lost my roll. Let me grab that quick. All right. And go all the way around to where the other seam is and put some hot glue on there. Push down. Right, and cut that off. And then I am going to do the top. All right, I'm just finishing up the top here. And I'm going to cut that off. Make sure this is all glued down good. All right. All right, then I have just one more thing that I'm going to do. I think this looks kind of goofy the way it is like this. So I'm going to actually take some more of this ribbon and I'm going to put a little stripe in the middle. I was going to do a bow, but I think this is going to look way better. So I'm just going to wrap this around in my little inner circle here. And hot glue that down. There. And that is what it looks like. I think it turned out pretty cute. Okay, then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my vase and I am going to hot glue it into my stand. So I just want to make sure I got the front and the back right. So that is the front, and then this is going to be the back. You see all that hot glue on there. So I am going to try to hot glue this down into the center. We'll see how that turns out. Oh, I think that looks really cute. All right, then the next thing that I want to do is I have these flowers, these fall flowers that I got from Dollar Tree, and I am going to arrange them in my vase. So I'm just going to kind of play around with them. I'll show you. I'm going to have to back the camera up a little bit, but I'm just going to kind of play around with the flowers. There you go. And see how I can get them in there to look really neat. All right, I'm just trying to figure out my flower arrangement here. It's taking a little bit longer than I thought. And you know, I probably still won't be happy with it. Okay, so what I did with my flowers is I just switched a couple of them around. I took the heads off of one of them and put it on the other. So now, yep, okay, so that way they'll be mixed in there a little bit more. So I'm going to stick those in there, and then these in the front right here. There, now it looks a little bit mixed up, and you got your cattails kind of poking out. The pine cones I have back here, they're kind of hard to see. I wish they were more up front, but I think this looks pretty decent. So I'm actually just going to push some of these petals up, because I am going to take some Spanish moss and I'm going to put it in here. So I just have some of this, and then this stuff is very messy, but I think it's going to add a cute little touch on there. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick this all the way around. All right, I have my Spanish moss in there. I think that just gives it a nice little added touch. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is I got these stones from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to put those in the bottom of my tray. I'm just going to fill it up all the way around. So pretty much, I mean, the majority of this project is all Dollar Tree. I think the only thing that wasn't Dollar Tree were the feet that I used, because I had those beads laying around, and then the paint. Otherwise, everything else was Dollar Tree. I just love when you can just make really cute things for not a lot of money. And I think this turned out really cute. I really like it. And I think you can use it as a fall decoration, but I mean, you could also keep it up any time of the year. I like darker colors, so. But there it is. It is all done. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope that you subscribe and hit the little bell so you get notified when I have new videos. And take care. Thanks for watching. Bye.